Now, this is what, week 7 for the NFL?
Week 7, correct.
All right, it's flying by. I hate it. But I hated week 6 with the Jets, and we're going to talk about the Jets Dolphin game. I mean, come on, Zach. Come on, referees. How can you sit there and reverse that call on the goal line and screw the Jets against those? I don't know what I want to call the Patriots, but they always seem to come out on top of everything. I don't care if it's during the season, off season, during practice, in the court cases, whatever it is, they always seem to come out on top, and they sure did last week. But we got the Jets. They're 3-3. They're playing Miami, who's 3-2 because they lost that first week, or they didn't lose it. They just haven't played the game yet. I got Miami's -3, and more importantly for me, I have the total at 38.5. I hope that's about correct. Like I said, the Jets are coming off that negative miracle, 24-17 home loss to New England. And speaking of miracles, how the hell Dolphins get behind 17-0 to at Atlanta and then come back and beat them 20-17? I mean, I didn't really watch the game. I haven't, maybe if Jay Cutler made the all-world comeback, or maybe the defense scored something. I'll let you talk about that in a second. But how the Dolphins can come back being down like that to anybody, I just can't believe. And another thing too, how disheartening is it for the New York Jets to jump out to an early to 14-0 lead and not only be able to hold on to it, but when they finally do get down to where they could tie it, they didn't get credit for that. So, I think Josh McGowan, he got off to a hot start. He finished with a season high last week of 354 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a couple of INTs, so that's not good either. But at 34 or 38 years old, he's not going to really put up big numbers, and those were big numbers last week. But more importantly, that shows you how porous the defense is for New England. Here's what I got on this game for today. I don't think that if you look at all the over and unders in the last 10 years, in the day of all the offense in the NFL and the passing and everything, most of them are between, let's say 42, 42 and a half, all the way up to 48, 49. This one has 1990s written all over it. The over and under number is like it was in the old days, 38. This game might be, and here's what my prediction is. Whoever scores the first 1 to 17 points in this game wins the game. So I'm going to be taking the under.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, last week with the Miami Dolphins, it really looked like one of those games where they didn't believe that the Miami was going to score any points. They kind of settled in offensively in the second half. When you do that in the NFL, all it takes is one series from the other team and then the defense to make a stop, and you can have a game flip real quick, and that's what happened. Miami had a good ground game going with Jay Cutler wasn't great, but he avoided an interception that was negated by a penalty. They scored on that drive, and they just had enough to just get the win because Atlanta melted in the second half. But this week, I think you look back at that week 3 matchup the Jets had. Let's not forget, like you said, Hollis, if they would have beat the Patriots, this would be they would be going in with the 3-game win streak that started with a win against Miami. It was definitely a tough loss to have. They could have been 4-2 heading into this matchup. Probably would have been a slight favorite, but and things change quickly in the NFL. So you have to wonder if Josh McCown at 38 years old can get it done again. Their game plan they had week 3 is not going to work this time against Miami. And let's not forget Jay Cutler. He came out of retirement right before the season, so it's kind of like he's just getting himself conditioned for the season. We're 5 weeks in for Miami right now. Like you said, they missed week 1, so he's barely a month into the season. So he's starting to gain some confidence. That defense is a little bit above average in Miami. And I think if you look at Todd Bowles, he's a kind of a coach that struggles in second matchups. So I think you could lean on Miami money line, maybe -3, just because of last week's inflation win against the Falcons. But you could still maybe take them to that -125 money line.
Why don't you talk to our audience a little bit about, the Jets beat Miami in week 3. Any type of revenge in the NFL more so than in the colleges?
Well, I think that one definitely was one you have to look at what happened. Miami traveled all the way from San Diego, and it was their first game of the season. So there was a little bit of variance there. Plus, they were getting ready to play in Europe the following week. The Jets, they just won that game on defense. They knew Jay Cutler wasn't going to show much. So you could say revenge, but I still would think it's just going to be an opposite game plan for both teams in this matchup. I think Miami's going to show a lot more, obviously, than they did. They're not going to get shut out again. So it's going to take Jets to open up that offense, which they started to do against the Patriots. But you can't let your foot off the gas, as what happened to the Jets and Falcons last week.
Well, you know what? I really have more confidence in Josh than I do in Jay. Jay's 34 years old. He's having to me, a horrible season. For his touchdown to interception ratio is 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in 5 games. That's not. He's only thrown for 857 yards. That's usually like two games for most quarterbacks. I'm wondering, and my biggest thing is the Miami offense for this year, they're still averaging 12 points per game. I mean, how could the Dolphins survive in this league with this lack of scoring and laying points? I just don't see it, Zach. I'm not going to bet the game. I'm not going with you or against you. I just can't see how the Dolphins could survive against a really good defense unless, like you said, it's just a totally different game plan. So I'll stick with the under because I believe that both teams have a very good defense. There's no way that you can win, what did I say? Miami's won 3 games, averaging 12 points per game. So it has to be their defense is keeping them in the game. And I've already talked about the Jets defense is keeping them in. So I think it's the under, and you think it's Miami. So we'll go with Miami and the under in this key game in the AFC East. And who knows? We got to keep that pressure on and get somebody, including Buffalo, to knock off the Patriots. And speaking of knocking off, you see my LA Dodger hat. They're going to the World Series, and I just hope it's a Dodger New York Yankee World Series. And if you want to know anything about the baseball, basketball's just kicking in, the NBA. So far this week, I only played 2 games. I won both of them. And if you need to get a hold of myself or Wayne Root, we're looking at jbplays.lv6@gmail.com. Just give me an email. I can tell you what's going on in the NFL or the NBA or college basketball or college football, or you might have a question or something like that. So give me a call or get a hold of Zach. Where can they get a hold of you, Zach, and close it up?
Just go on my Twitter at Cimini or follow me or go to my website, notjustagame.com.
Okay, and we'll be seeing you guys next week. Good luck, Zach. Good luck, all the fans out there.